Hey Divine Ones, it's Jerome Braggs. I'm going to come to you and do another soul medicine as I expressed yesterday. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing a live video every day. And today is something I've been wanting to share for a long time. Actually, I've been wanting to do a live on this for a while. And it's why I disagree with Marianne Williamson. I know before we get started, the title of this video is a bit salacious. I don't actually disagree with the entirety of Marianne Williamson's being, right? I actually like her as a teacher. I've met her once. I like her as a person. But there is a specific quote of hers that is very popular and that a lot of people often quote out and respond. And it's been shared and talked about and even preached about for a long time. That I actually disagree with. I disagree with it because of my life experience, my personal journey, and my working with people around the world. In my work has taught me something very different. Has taught me a truth that's very different than the truth that she says in this quote. So I want to talk to you a little bit about why I disagree with the quote, what the actual truth that I've seen is. And all of that. So this video is why I disagree with Marianne Williamson. And before we start, I want to read this quote. So if you know me, I'm not always that great with memorizing things word for word. So I'm going to read it from this piece of paper. And the quote that I want to talk to you about in this video is this one right here. And it's, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates us. So I want to talk to you a little bit, I want to share with you the part of this quote that I disagree with. And it's actually the first few sentences. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And in my experience, in my own personal journey, in my working with people around the world, that's actually not true. Most people are actually not afraid of their light. They're actually not afraid of their bigness. That's actually the call that's going on from within them. That's what they actually want. It's actually instead of their biggest fear, it's their biggest desire. They really want to be their most authentic selves. They really want to embody that vision for success that they have. There's literally a soul calling coming from them from within. It's pulling them forward. It's like something that won't let them sleep. It's always in the background, even if they're suppressing it, even if they're denying it or trying to reject it in some way or not paying attention to it. It's always there and they feel it. And you literally feel it in the heart body. You feel it in the in the gut that's kind of what you really want. But here's what the actual fear is. So the fear is not your light. Your light is actually usually your deepest desire. It's actually why you're here. You're here to express your light. It's what your soul is always calling you towards a higher expression of it. But the fear, this is where I disagree with her. The fear that I found that is actually your biggest fear is that you will become your light. That you will actually be the fullness of you and you will express more of that in the world. And it still won't be enough for the people you care about. The actual biggest fear we have is that I will step out into the world as my full self and I'll be rejected for it. And people will withhold their love from me. And how that looks out in the world is like, so you may want to start a business. Right? So you may want to start a business. Let's just say going to what I'll just say some clients of mine that I've seen that wanted to start a business helping people get in touch with their angels, right? But their biggest fear was not that they'd be out there and they'd be shining bright and that, they'd be fully in connection with themselves. Their biggest fear was that their parents would find out about what they do, and their parents would reject them, and their parents would not be happy with it, and their parents wouldn't agree because their parents were traditional Christians and they were not anymore, right? Or that, for instance, I've worked with people who wanted to come out sexually. Like, they presented one way in the world, that they were heterosexual, but really they were bisexual, or they were homosexual. And their biggest fear wasn't to be fully embodied and to express that in the world, because they wanted to do that. They wanted to be that light that is fully their authentic self. Their biggest fear was that the people at work would reject them, that their parents would walk away from them and withhold their love from them. And so their fear wasn't the light at all. The fear was rejection and abandonment, that they feared would happen by embodying that they would fully be themselves, and the people around, and for the people that mattered most to them, it still wouldn't be enough. And so the biggest fear that we have is that something about us isn't enough, and that something about and that thing that's not enough will make people withhold their love from us. So it's not the light that scares us, it's our belief that something inherently about us, even at our fullest expression, is still not enough for the people we really care about. So in order to make that shift in our lives, we've got to learn how to be okay with ourselves, even if they're not okay with us. Can I accept myself, and can I fully give myself permission to be all of myself, even if they don't agree, even if they don't champion me and root for me, even if can I go towards my vision, even if no one else is going with me. That's the invitation. And so it's not the light, it is the fear. It's not the light, it's the rejection and the abandonment we fear by being in the light. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that. That's where again, where I disagree with Marianne Williamson is probably one of the only places, and the rest of that quote I'm all on board with, that I wrote, that I just read to you, that she wrote about being a child of God, which is absolutely true, and that you are here to express the fullness of you. But to get to know what your actual fear is. Your fear is not that you're light. Your fear is not your actual success. The fear that's really beneath all of that, what your fear is, right? So it may present at the beginning that, oh, I'm afraid to be successful, or I'm afraid of my light. And you ask another question, why am I afraid of that? The fear that lies underneath that is, I'm afraid that if I really come out and be all of myself, and I'd be as successful and wild as I could, that I'll be rejected for it. And that I won't be enough, and people will leave me, and people will still abandon me, or they'll talk about me, or they'll find out about me, right? I'll get out there and I'll be a speaker, or I'll be this coach, and people will find out that I don't know all of that. I remember for me, when I first started doing this type of work, the intuitive and the spiritual work, that they'd find out I'm not as good as Michael Beckwith, or that I'm not as good as Ian Levanson, or that I don't have the sound bites like them. And again, it wasn't that I'd be here and that I'd be doing this work that I love, because this was calling me for the last 10 years. It was calling me to do more of this. My fear was that I'd get here and my parents would say, what are you doing? you're not this sweet young Christian boy anymore. People would be like, what are you doing? What do you really know? Right? And so that was the fear that I had to heal, that I had to bring to light, and I had to begin to and the only way we do that is by loving ourselves more, by learning to accept ourselves and not reject ourselves, even if other people reject us, because there's no way you're going to live a truly tapped in, turned on, full light on life and not have people disagree with it in some way. They're going to disagree with it. It's part of the human experience. It's part of the journey. They're going to disagree with who you are being and how you show up. Not everybody, but there are going to be people who do. And you're going to have to be okay with that. But here's the other beautiful benefit of that. When you shine and you turn your light on, it attracts other people who've turned their lights on as well. And you find your soul tribe. You find the people that actually get you, the people who actually nourish you and affirm you and help you expand and become more of who you really are on the planet. and it makes it all worth it. So I hope this has helped you understand what the real fear is. And as like I said in the beginning, this is not, I'm not being antagonistic to Marianne Williamson. I love her. But I just wanted to shed some light on that one quote and share with you what the real truth is. I see you all here. Thank you for coming. I'll see you tomorrow. And as always, I love you. Be well and live solicitously. Namaste and Ashe.